Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee. My name is Lance McKinnon, and I am here with my counterpartner, Tiffany Linderman. Good morning, Tiffany. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I got a little hoarse in my voice today. This weather here in central Pennsylvania has been crazy, but I'm enjoying my Fifth Acres coffee from Good Brothers Cafe in downtown Pennsylvania. And it's really helping me out. So I'm trying to get through this as best as I possibly can. So
Get it.
bear
I
with
didn't,
me, but I sound like maybe Peter Brady or something like that with my frog voice.
I was gonna say I didn't talk long enough for you to actually get a good sip of your coffee, your Fifth Acres coffee. So I'll talk for a little bit so you can actually drink it before it gets cold, right?
Yeah, so go ahead. So how have you been?
Oh, I've been good. I absolutely agree that the weather has been crazy. And I'm not one of those people that look at the weather every day. So I woke up today and was completely shocked when I see wet rain, cold rain coming down and snowflakes throughout the day. So I got my SMC Saturday morning coffee hoodie on real
Yeah,
fast.
like 2 days ago, I had like my Muscle Man T-shirt on, doing yard work. I don't wear a Muscle Man T-shirt, but literally the weather's been like 70 degrees down to 25 degrees. I have no idea what is going on, but I am actually excited to be here this Saturday. Do we have a guest today?
You're lucky you get me today. So no other guests. We get to talk about some wonderful people we had this last season, right?
Yes, you know what? That is a great idea. I think it's very important that we take the moment to slow down and really reflect on this season. This season five has been absolutely phenomenal. We've really hit on some major subjects that affect pretty much everybody in the world. I'm just going to jump right into it. Leslie Weinrich, that story, man, moving. Suicide prevention, telling of the days, the hours leading up to, her son's passing, and all that she is doing is absolutely amazing. And I try to tell our followers, um, we obtain a lot of information on these Saturdays, but we never really get to sit down and just take the information in ourselves because we're moving at light speed to try to get the information out for you. But there's a lot of information that in season five that we had that I think we both collectively felt like it's really important. Like, let's recap, what season five was really about, not just the number, but some of the conversations. And Leslie came straight to my mind because, there's a lot of things that she's doing. I mean, she is a mom on a mission. Um, she is spreading the word, suicide, mental illness. Is a major problem in America today. And, people are losing jobs, there's bullying, um, and that's, we're talking with Lisa Macdonald, we touched on bullying and not being perfect, but embracing yourself. Those are just kind of two quick stories, but Leslie was absolutely amazing. And what was your take?
Well, I was just gonna say that Leslie definitely stands out of anybody I think of over the last season. I think we had so many amazing guests, but um, Leslie's story and just what she went through and being able to share that story. And I'll reference the word pain, like our one of our last guests too. She didn't let that pain go to waste, and she's making a difference because of it. So losing her son, and that fateful day, she she reflected on everything that happened there and decided she needs to do something to help save the lives of other children, other people that are going through depression or considering suicide. And then she talked about really wonderful levers that you can pull to be able to support those around you to help, hopefully save their lives. But also too, I think she even gave out some really great resources. So if you are somebody that is in those moments, there's ways that you can reach out to people. So she has a foundation. I know you know this all, Lance, but for all of our guests, like there's Leslie's Hope. You can go to her website and check out all the resources that they have, that she shares her story openly, freely about what happened and her son. So that way other people can learn. There's even courses that you, myself, anybody in the world can take to be able to be more savvy or understand more about mental illness to help support those people in those times. And she even talked too about the children or teenagers. I think what was the age? 21. I think it was like 21. Up until you're 21 years old, you're
27.
27 is 27, but she even talked about the brain and the part of the brain, and I should know this as a nurse, my gosh, embarrassing. There's a part of your brain, I think it's like the amygdala, that is not fully formed at that point, so you don't know how to process the information that is going through your brain when you are really angry, upset, sad. And so you can be in that moment for those 15 minutes that you don't know what to do with it, with what's going on, and make a poor decision. But she just says, wait those 15 minutes, reach out to somebody. There's an app, I think it's called Not Okay. And it will reach out to those contacts that you put on there that you feel are your safe, your safe circle, that they can know where you're at and come to you and be a part of whatever's going on to make sure you're supported and that you don't feel like you're alone. So I love her message of hope.
Her message was absolutely amazing. And too, and I'm just going to piggyback on another guest that had an absolutely amazing story. I'm going to kind of put two guests together, but Ivy Schamis, from Parkland shooting, school teacher, eyewitness to that particular day, what she did, why God has saved her to be able to save that message, to share this message with the world. Our hearts go out to all those families, all those who were left behind. But Ivy tells that day, which was just a normal day, and it's any parent's nightmare to receive that phone call or to see it on the news. And when man, that story stays with me forever. And which leads me to Eddie McGovern with the CERA app, because Eddie McGovern was one of the first officers on the scene. And since he's left the police force, he has created CERA, which is an which they provide a technology application. And Ivy Sykes, stated, in her story, if they had that CERA app, the perpetrator would have been caught a lot sooner. I mean, she said he walked out with the students. And listening to that, Ivy tell the story firsthand of her classroom and the impact and the loss of lives in that classroom that particular day, and what we saw on the news. Man, it just left me blown absolutely away. So, what Eddie McGovern is doing with Sarah. I know Ivy is a representative. She's a spokesperson with them now, but the Sarah app is absolutely what we need. Not just in the school industries, but we needed it throughout everything because the world's crazy right now. Take a look. Turn the TV on. I'm not, but I don't have to turn the TV on to know that the world is crazy right now. But it all ties in with mental illness and mental health and being alert and stuff. So, what's your take?
I'll just say, as you're talking, I realized how heavy of a season it was. And I'm not going to act like it was all heavy, but we had some really heavy, deep conversations and stories that were shared. And so it just weighs on my heart. And I think, as we were talking right before we got on, just about the fact that it's hard not to hear some of these stories and think like, oh my gosh, like, could that happen to me, to us, my family, my friends? In the reality, we know we have no control over all of it, but there are absolutely some things we can control and put in place to provide safety for one another, or yeah, in any of these scenarios. But when Ivy shared her story, she said that there's so many lives that could have been saved that day, and there was so much chaos. Chaos was the word I took away from what she said. Obviously,
Yeah, it
something
is too. Yeah,
horrible happened that day. Without that individual coming into the school and starting to shoot up everything. But then from what happened, you could hear he was literally all over the school. And had they had CERA, they would have, and that's why essentially Eddie put this together, because he realized there were so many breakdowns in the system that didn't allow for them to actually pinpoint and get the shooter sooner. And like you said, he just left, walked out like he was a student, went to, I don't know, McDonald's or whatever, and then they
yeah,
end up catching him. But had they had CERA, they would have been able to catch him, minutes earlier, before he was started being anywhere and everywhere in the school shooting kids. And so definitely listen to Ivy's story, for all the viewers out there. It's insane, it's horrible, it's sad. But I think that the thing I take away from her story as well is that hope, that there is something we can do to provide safety for one another. And I think at least, we know that there's a great program, like you said, with CERA, to be able to put that in our schools, our businesses, places that we're going. And one of these, I think, probably in a couple of years or so, we're going to see this all over the place. And I'm glad that we at least knew about it when it started, right?
yeah, exactly. And and both you and I have had the privilege of actually seeing the demo of actually how it works. And one of the takeaways that Ivy said, seconds mattered in that situation. And with that Sarah app, the seconds really would have mattered. And like I said, and it's just not in the schools. This is and this was in the suburbs. Wow, and we live in the suburbs. But what we're talking, this it belongs in every town, every school district. Like I said, you can't put a dollar sign on a cost. One of the things that stuck in my mind with that conversation was, some parents didn't even know where their children were until 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, wow. Like, I couldn't even imagine, I lost my dog I'm not equating it to the loss of life for a child. Don't get me wrong, but, my dog went missing for like 30 minutes, and that's a family member, and I panicked. So only imagine, to our followers, our listeners, imagine not knowing where your child is after a school shooting, until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, that was breathtaking, and it's absolutely amazing. And those are just those couple stories, but I also want to talk about Tamika Beekman, with TV media. She's absolutely phenomenal, uh, being a storyteller. She is like giving us so many great insights. There's so many people out there that have stories, and and it's really about what you want to portray in your story and who you want to impact. And Tamika at TV Media is doing absolutely phenomenal, and I think she's up for Woman of the Year, um, down in Florida, and we wish her all the luck. But she was absolutely phenomenal as well.
Yeah, I'll just say this, like, yesterday was National Women's Day. Go Tamika, you go girl. She's doing amazing things.
She's doing absolutely amazing things, and I don't we're now don't always just talk about every single one, and we don't want to skip anybody, but there's so much information out there. Lisa McDonald, you know, embracing bullying, and that's the thing, embracing, uh, not being perfect, and not the diversity that she went through to overcome, to perfectly imperfect. I absolutely love that story and how brave she is to be able to come out and just say, "Hey, I'm not perfect," And by no means am I perfect, but the way she was bullied and how she overcame that, and again, there's mental illness tied back into that story as well, again, and folks, these are like great stories that, need to go back and listen to them. And I think that's one of the reasons why we just wanted to take today and just kind of like take it all in for ourselves and just listen to them again, because there's so much information, and I don't know who gets information right the first time when they listen to a story. I think Tamika will probably mention that. I have to take it in 2 or 3 times because there's so many nuggets from season 5. From everybody to Paul Lamar Hunter. The 19th child out of 21. And who set the blueprint for generations to come, and again, you had a tragic story that turned into triumph, and another adversity story that people are taking what they're given and turning it into good and helping so many people.
I'm being quiet for a second, but no, there's so much there. I'm not gonna necessarily repeat everything you said, but I did love listening to all of our guests, obviously. But Lisa Macdonald, I love her story because none of us are perfect. Maybe you are, Lance. I'm sorry. You're perfect.
I am perfectly imperfect. I like I'm probably the least perfect person. I'm admitting that I am far from being perfect. Um, my friends will tell you like, no, I can't even believe he's doing this. But hey, but you never know. We get some lemons and we'll make some lemonade out of it.
Absolutely. So
But
yeah,
but all, but
her imperfection is beautiful. I know I've been watching her since we had her on too, and she's just been, I love that she's a self advocate for herself, and she believes in herself. And I think that's what she learned through everything, all the adversity she's been through. She stopped listening to everybody else and what they thought, and believed in herself. And so she's doing beautiful artwork. I watched a wonderful video that she had of like a fire hydrant that she painted, and a lot of
yes,
different
that was
artwork pieces.
on Women's Day. That was yes, and she did that. I watched that, and she's teaching younger children now, younger kids, to it's okay. It's an outlet. Painting is an outlet. To release a lot of things that are going on in your mind, and that story was phenomenal. And we had Ty Anderson. A local police officer, surviving in the community, grew up in the community. Uh, his given course was playing in the NFL. And unfortunately, God said no. And we look at that sometimes when God says no, it's a bad thing. But he had such a bigger plan for Ty. He wanted Ty to be in the community, working with these younger kids, changing their lives, and meeting them at their level, saying, hey, I was on these streets too, so I know exactly what it's like. So Ty doing absolutely amazing things. And, it was just a season full of knowledge of like, I'm not gonna say it was overwhelming, but it was really time for us to like just stop and just recognize not just everybody from season 5, but all of our past guests. All of our past guests have brought major nuggets, vital information that are just normal people that are making a difference in this world. And like I said, without turning the TV on, I know that there is a lot of craziness going on, and it's true. And so it's one of the things I always say, make a difference. Kindness is free. Give your time away. That's really important too. And I want to talk about Danny. Danny um, is doing his own thing. He's doing some Danny Parrot. he's not recreating the world, the wheel of technology and of pharmaceuticals and stuff. He's kind of gone back to what our ancestors have been doing for generations ago. I'm not disputing anything in the medical field. That's a disclaimer. Everybody can, like Danny said, you consult with your own doctor and what's best for you. But what he is, his depth of knowledge, and the way he said, he takes one plant and studies it for a year. That's like that ancient Chinese secret. Like could you imagine taking one plant and just studying everything about it for 1 year before you do anything else with it? And and his Danny Parrot Beverages, his company is taking off tremendously, and and I'm excited for him as well. So but that was a very another deep conversation because we talked about coming out of the pandemic, and some people using it, some people not trying it. It's not for everybody, but I just say look into it. But there was a lot of serious conversations and a lot of things that you know. Again, in life, we do have to slow down in order to speed up. And Saturday morning coffee, and we want to say thank you to all our followers and listeners, that are out there listening to us every Saturday. Thank you for the support. Thank you for people who have written in, wanting to tell their stories. It's been absolutely a marvelous journey so far. And I know season 6, we have some big heavy hitters coming up again. It's going to be really serious. I know we're making the transition. We're going to be moving a lot more to. I think I said. Did you say? Did you want to move a lot more to Spotify, Tiffany? Um,
We want to
is
get
that?
on Spotify. We want people to be able to listen and watch, or not even watch, listen to us wherever they're at. If they're in their car, on their phone, while they're like working, listen to the podcast and hear these wonderful stories. So I think the nice thing about Spotify is you have that ability to, you can shut down your phone, the screen, but still, be listening into it, or, have it on your computer. You don't have to be watching the video and seeing our beautiful faces the whole time. So
Well, you make it. Your beautiful face. I'm just.
I,
I'm just here. So, but we'll say your
I'm not
beautiful
that,
face.
I'm not really boasting myself. I need to make sure that's very clear. But no, I just think it's a great way for people to still be able to hear the messages and not have to have your screen open the whole time. So
Yeah, because really true. It's with life now, it is so demanding. Excuse me. I tell you, a sore throat. Life now is so demanding, and it's really hard to just sit down for 30, 35 minutes and listen to a podcast. So I think listening to more on Spotify. You be in the yard. It's going to be nice out soon. Put your earbuds in. Do some flowering. Um, Cutting the grass, whatever, painting the post, whatever it may be. But I think it's going to give our viewers and our followers a lot more opportunity to be able to hear the full story because, again, we talked about time. People are constantly, grocery store, somebody walking into the room, you're chasing the dog. Whoever gets the
we all
privilege.
have families, things to do, right? And so
Yeah,
yeah, we got to make it work.
yeah, and now that the world's turning again, people are stuck in traffic. It's a great opportunity. Turn on Spotify and tune in to Saturday morning coffee, and and take in these stories because I was looking. I got a message from Liam and Liam Ryan, all the way from Ireland, who chimes in every Saturday, which would probably be Sunday in Ireland. But he always takes the time to listen. But we're throughout all of the United States. I'm getting my little map here, and pinpointing all the states that Saturday morning coffee has embraced. But really, everybody has a story, and as Tamika says, everybody has a story. And you just got to be willing to share it. Because if you hold on to it to yourself, you know, who could you be helping? You know, so there's always a passage where somebody has to cross the river first in order to help other people. And things that we talked about in season 5 with the names that we've mentioned and the folks we mentioned, there was there's tragedy, there was some sadness, there was happiness, we had some laughs. It was a great time. But all of the information that we provided throughout this season is information that anybody can use that may need it. From Leslie to Tamika to Ivy to Danny.
At the tonic.
Yes, yeah, Danny's tonic, to Lisa's painting, to Ty Anderson working with the youth, Paul Lamar, working with the youth after being the 19th child, in his book, and now how he's giving back to the community. Eddie with the CERA. If anything, go and look at the CERA, pull up CERA. You know, there's just so much information out there. Is that and that's why I think it was really important for us today, this Saturday, just to kind of say we need to slow down in order to speed up because we have our lives are going on too, and I love listening to things on Spotify as well too. But I think it's really important that again, all of our guests have been spectacular. I'm looking forward to next season, which is right around the corner, and again, yeah, tell everybody, you know, keep making a difference in people's lives every day, no matter what it is that you're doing. Opening the door, giving somebody your time, picking up the telephone. I've gotten away from texting. I'm getting away from texting. I'm kind of going back to old school Tiffany uh, because I think it's too easy to text. So it's now like I'm picking up the telephone and calling people, and I'm getting that response. What are you calling me for? Because we've just gotten too comfortable with technology in some degrees where we need that human contact again, and just with everything going on right now, I think it's just really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the last thing I'm just going to say here is I think one thing, there was a nice like transition to see through the whole season, but like I said, that the stories, there was sadness and there was heartbreak of the loss that people had and the pain. But I think through those stories we learned a lot. And I think at the end of the day, like you said, make sure that you're taking care of those around you. Make sure you're taking time to take care of yourself and give back to yourself. And so I think that we heard that in a lot of the stories that we heard. So it's a balance between helping others and helping take care of yourself. That way, if you can take care of yourself, you can help more people because you're healthy and able to do that for others as well. So I think I'm so thankful for all the people and the lessons we've learned over this last
Yeah,
season. And
and
thank
I think Danny was really right on point with knowing your body and taking care of yourself. That's one of the takeaways I got from that, and I have to admit that I have been using the Parrot beverages myself, and it's made a huge difference. And we don't just preach it; we use it. And but no, but it's really important to take care of yourself. And if you think that what you have to offer is not valuable to somebody in your immediate community, like I said, we're spread out throughout the country. And then several states. I mean, we're throughout all the United States and several countries. Um, but there's somebody else who could probably use your story and to better themselves with. And so don't keep it inside. Like Tamika said, tell your story. We all have a story to tell. So I think it's really important. And I'm really excited that, we decided to slow down today and let my voice heal. However, but we touched on a lot of valuable points, and I'm truly grateful for having such a amazing partner on Saturday morning coffee. I know I don't tell you enough that I appreciate the time and effort that you put into this, and with traveling and with my schedule and so forth like that. So I appreciate everything that you do um, to help make Saturday morning coffee work.
Thank you. And well, for all the viewers, please know he actually does thank me plenty. So all the time. So I appreciate that, Lance. You're amazing. And I will absolutely say that you were the brainchild behind all of this. And so you grind every single day to make this work for not only our community, but being able to share the messages with the world that we really want you to know about how to help others. And that was the main goal. Since your inspiration hit you that one day, and you reached out and came up with this amazing idea. It's amazing to see where it's grown and come to at this point. We're practically at a year. Actually, I should say that we're practically at a
Right.
year here. So I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's been wonderful to see how the whole SMC family has grown since. And it's like watching your little children grow, right?
Yes, exactly. I hope my garden grows as well this year. So, but no, truly, thank you. And again, we don't want to take up too much of your time on this Saturday, but again, we're going to be making a transition into Spotify a lot more than we have because we want to be respectful of people's times and so forth like that. And be prepared. We're going to be bringing some very powerful stories to you. They're unfiltered, they're real, and again, kindness, 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 kindness. Cannot preach it enough. And I don't only just say it, I do it, I live it. It's not just something I put on a Facebook post. I walk the walk, I talk the talk, and God's put me here, and it's called, it's going to be my legacy. And I truly want to leave my mark on the world. I know Tiffany wants to leave her mark on the world. And there's so many people out there right now that are doing amazing things, that are helping in such amazing ways. And then just give us a call on Saturday, email us at Saturday Morning Coffee, and we'd be more than happy to share your story and how you're making a difference. Because if you're making a difference in your small town, well, you can make another difference in another small town. And we're just planting seeds throughout the United States and other countries that we'll never see the harvest for. And like always, thank you very much to all of our followers for following us and growing with us and enduring some of my corny jokes. And but like always, make a difference in somebody's life today and every day. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you. And thank you to all our viewers.
Thank you.